What is up with my tribe? Hello, friends. Welcome back to another installment of the wacky, wonderful world of movement and biomechanics. Today, I want to talk about an interesting character. I've always been fascinated by people who think outside the norm and put forth concepts that disrupt the current consensus. Oftentimes, these sorts of people seem a little bit out there. They seem a little bit weird. They seem a little bit different. But the people that I resonate with, although they are weird, they can intellectualize their madness. So today I want to be talking about a character that I've stumbled across that I think is really interesting in the fitness industry. His name is David Wecks, and I'm calling him the Mad King of Locomotion because he is certainly a little out there. But he has some ideas that make a lot of sense to me. So Wecks is the inventor of the Bosu ball, which gives him a little credit off top and maybe hopefully gives you a reason to pay a little bit of attention to the ideas he's putting forth. And what are those ideas, right? So he is saying that the current understanding of bracing your core and maintaining a neutral spine, although potentially beneficial if you're doing specific heavy lifts, is detrimental to your locomotion. So the way that people are often taught to run is to brace their core, keep their head over their spine, and then let the arms drive the legs. However, you don't see that a lot in nature, right? What you'll see in nature is a lot of this. People keeping the head over the foot and rotating side to side. If you see a person jogging, it's a natural way that people move, and yet we train them to do the opposite. And also, if you look at high-level athletes like Usain Bolt, they move in the same way. And although they move in the same way and they're the best at what they do, people will still say they're doing it wrong. So coiling is the concept, and it goes a little deeper than that, but I'm just going to go ahead and play some of these for you guys to check out. What up, Simon? I'm about to show some cool stuff. Learn about the Wecks.
Right, that guy who is the guy.
Here it is.
Okay, when animals came around, okay, so you have these little organisms that are tiny, these amoeba things that are floating, buoyant in water, and they need to get from here to there, or there to here. And what they do is they side bend because they're buoyant. So there's not the burden of gravity. There's no propping oneself up when you're floating. Efficiency is the rule, right? Because if you're not efficient, well then, okay. You burned up more than you could eat, and there you go. So kind of gas. So basically that's how it started, okay? So whatever period of time that these little things started doing stress led to what is called the segmented spine. All right, there's science experiments where if you put up this thing and you just keep doing the hards and the softs, it's going to come together, centralize, and then segment, because that's what gives the leverage to do that more efficiently. All right? Okay,
so that broke up a lot because of poor connection, but I hope you got the message that he's saying is that these little organisms they move like this.
I see it.
That's why the
all right, so
spine
now,
evolved.
when you come out of water, now you got the burden of propping yourself up. Okay, and we still have to deal with the fact that it's life and death, fight and flight, and efficiency is the law. So we don't have the luxury of being too smart for ourselves or themselves, right? So that you do stupid things even though you're a smart person, right? That makes sense? Absolutely. Okay. So now, the amphibian or the reptile. So now I'm here, right? The fins have become limbs, all right? However it happened, right? Abracadabra or some missing link, I don't care, whatever. This is just an intellectual exercise to walk us in on the truth so that others can accept the truth. And, the cognitive dissonance, it's okay. Brace yourself, sit down, take a breath. Here's the vomit bag if you need it. It's all right. It's just all right. We just don't want your willful ignorance to continue to hurt your clients and efficiently.
So what a concept that people might be hurting themselves, hurting their clients.
It's about the kids you train. So now, here, I got these lateralized limbs. My most efficient move to get to there is that. Because this doesn't take much at all. I didn't even have to prop myself up, really, to just get that, right? Now I have the burden of propping myself up, so I prop myself up to back. So I have an shoulders, the upper appendage, contralateral, blah, 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 okay? But that's what it is. And it is not, use my ball and sockets because they're so powerful, right? Because what happened is the bully culture that we live in, the male dominant, bigger, faster, stronger, how much do you bench, motherfucker? Monday's bench day, right? I'll kick your ass, yeah. You want to go outside? Yeah, I bench more than you, asshole. That's what it's about, right? That guy, who is the guy, right? He squats and he benches and he deadlifts, and that's where you do need to brace the core. Right? So that's where it is. You're 50-50 and you are braced to go up and down. Okay? Now, you're not going to jump your highest that way because the jump you need to actually extend, and so there's no anti-extension happening. To throw a ball, there's no anti-extension happening. Right? What it is you're using the connective tissue to move with the economy and the springiness to relieve the muscle bellies of the burden of having to do the work. They do work, but they need to be unified with the structure.
Okay, so some of that got cut off because of poor connection, so I'm going to summarize really quickly. When we're amoebas, we're moving in water. How we get from place to place? We coil. We do this because we don't have gravity resisting against us. And then once we evolved onto land, right? You're flat on land. How do you move? You have these two dorsifins. You got to move in a spiral figure 8. You get this hand to there, and you have to lift yourself. You get this hand to there, and you have to lift yourself. This hand to there, and that spiral figure 8 of coiling in is what actually evolved the spine. Now, that concept by itself might be like, makes sense, but what do we do about it, right? And this is what I think is really fascinating is there's a whole methodology for training this philosophy that's unlike anything I've ever seen. I'm going to show you what some of those exercises look like. This is Savage Protocols on Instagram, demonstrating some curling variation squatting movements. I'll show you a few more movements here. Stuff like that. I call this one the Royal Core. So, long story short, I think movement is more complicated than the majority of personal trainers, fitness people give it credit for, right? And I am no master of movement. I'm going to say that off the top. I have just been passionate about studying it. And in my own personal practice, I've been implementing some of this coiling, and I can say it feels right? It relates a lot to martial arts, it feels like, because when you block a kick, you coil. When you're in jiu-jitsu, you're trying to create a good frame, you coil. So implementing coiling into your training, I think, is an important thing to start considering if you're in the movement game. That's my spiel for the day. Hope you guys learned something, or at least sparked or plant a seed that might grow into something in the future. Thank you guys for joining me. I hope you check out the David Wecks on Instagram. Follow his madness and Savage Protocols too, man. That fool's a beast. Love you guys. Get after it.